Hello, Durud and Shalom. Okay, let me see. All is good? All is good? Yes, we are. Let's jump into our discussion group right here. My audio is okay? Let's see who's here. Wait, no, this banner should be removed. What we need is a new banner. Let's see what the new banner should say. The new banner should say this. Fix the banner. How many people are here already? Okay, woo, it's getting busy. Okay, let's just jump right into our discussion. 26 people already here, so let's go inside. Ooh, let me turn on the camera first and the microphone. And let's just go in.
Conflict always in our government. Even within the ruling party, we got lots of division.
I think the show is starting.
Hey, Armin.
Hello.
Hi, Armin.
Hi.
Hello, Armin.
Hello, guys.
Afternoon.
Hello. Sorry, I interrupted you. But sorry, guys. You guys were talking, and I always jump right in and rudely and interrupt your discussion. What were you guys talking about?
I was asking about if we have some people here from Africa, South Africa. I'm not going to say exactly where. And I was asking about how has the government been there lately, if there's been any conflicts, things like that.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Danny, are you modding today? Is it Danny here or somebody else modding? Okay, Danny is not opening his mic. Is there any other mods? Sketch, do you want to? Sketch, are you modding?
I can mod, but you got to give me a minute because I just had a brownout and my computer is rebooting. But I'm listening on.
Okay,
I'm listening on the phone. If Danny comes back, that would be better.
Okay, but Danny is not opening his mic.
I don't think Danny's here. I think there might be a
Bunny
glitch.
Oh, Nail Bunny, do you want to mod? I don't think she wants to mod.
That could work too.
Okay, Sketch, you go ahead. You go ahead and mod because Danny is not. Nail Bunny is not opening her mic, and you do a good job at modding. So you go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to read out the rules because this is open mic, right? The rules are as follows. For all of you who are new here, welcome. What we're going to do is first rule, have your mics muted. Why? Some people don't use headphones. There's echo. And for background noise reasons, it's best if everyone has your mic muted on the app. So we know, well, no one has their mic open on the app. Therefore, everything is good. Or if we hear a noise, we're going to know, like, we're going to look at the name. Okay, this person has their mic open. That's probably where the background noise is coming from. Try to keep your mics closed. Rule number 2, if you would like to suggest a topic, there will be a list of topics. We're going to have to restart that list. I've only seen one topic from Wikipedia, which will be the first one I have. But you put a 1 and a short description so that Armin can write it at the bottom like a newsfeed. And that way you get your topic across. Third rule, if you want to respond to a current topic, you put in a 2. And the mods will be looking at the side chat. There's a side chat on the bottom on the right. You're going to be able to see like a little square, like a square inside a circle that signifies the chat. You click on there, and you put a 1 for your topic, a 2 for response, and we will be taking note and making a list. All right, okay. Those are the basic rules. Now Armin is going to have to also stop for super chats. And with that, I leave you with Armin.
So before we go to the people who put 1, I was going to cover a topic. I need advice from you guys because I have on the banner, we're going to be talking about Israel, the new reports regarding Israel. Basically, U.S. intel is warning Israel may undermine Iran peace deal. Washington Post is talking about that. My banner says Israel going rogue, ? is that like a negative way of like, because is there a way that I could say that is that is doesn't seem like we're criticizing Israel? Like, is there a better banner that I could write instead of like rogue is negative, right? If I say rogue is, if I say Israel going rogue question mark, that's like not okay. So what should I say instead of Israel going rogue question mark? It is negative. Okay, so give us write me a text in the chat that I could change the banner to. That would be more positive. Maybe like rogue is like chaotic neutral. Defecting? I don't think it's defecting. Okay, you know what? Israel is walking their own path. Okay, yeah, okay, that's better. Israel going its own path. Okay, let me write that. Israel. Okay, I'll think of something. Let me just put U.S. Israel Iran update. You know what? I can't do it right now. Anyways, let me just read what's happening. This is the report, and I want you guys to put 2 in the chat to see. I want to see what your opinions on this are. Okay. So, U.S. intelligence agencies have warned the Trump administration that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is likely to take steps that could undermine President Donald Trump's effort to secure a lasting peace with Iran, the Washington Post reported, citing current and former U.S. officials. The warning comes amid growing tension over Lebanon, where Israel appears intent on continuing military operations against Hezbollah, despite a key element of the U.S.-Iran framework calling for an end to hostilities there. The report said Netanyahu faces domestic pressure to maintain the Lebanon campaign and avoid any move that could be seen as a defeat. Israel launched airstrikes across southern Lebanon on Friday after a Hezbollah drone strike killed 4 Israeli soldiers, a U.S. and Iranian official, as U.S. and Iranian officials postponed planned talks in Switzerland. So I don't know what this U.S. intelligence, if it's true or not, but the framing of this is retarded, in my opinion. So Israel is responding to Hezbollah killing its soldiers, and you guys have this, attempt for a deal going on, and the framing of that is that they are trying to undermine the peace deal. They're responding to people killing their civilians and killing their soldiers. Like I don't understand. Like the way that this is framed is like, ooh, Israelis are scheming. Like, oh my god, this peace deal. Let's just shoot at Hezbollah so that we could ruin this peace deal you have going on here. I mean, the article itself is talking about the fact that 4 Israeli soldiers have been killed. Maybe the reason why they're attacking Hezbollah is because they're shooting at their civilians and their soldiers. I mean, maybe your MOU with the Islamic Republic is not the first thing on their agenda. I mean, you're also talking about the Israeli people putting pressure on Netanyahu to win this. So maybe it's more about what the Israeli people want. Maybe it's about responding, showing your deterring capabilities when your enemies are attacking at you. What is this fucking framing? And also, what is the Washington Post? What are they? Are they lefty, right? Are they pro-Israeli, anti-Israeli? I don't know. Like, you guys tell me. It seems like everybody on the left and right, there's so much. People are uniting on making this the worst for Israel, but it's just like, I try to consume information from all sides, and I've never, even at the height of the anti-Israeli attacks after October 7th, I've never seen this much media, anti-Israeli media coverage. And now they're citing U.S. intelligence. They're saying U.S. intelligence agencies are warning Trump. Also, how, I know this article might be biased, but how possible is it that that's actually what U.S. intelligence agencies are doing. Like, are they basically framing this to President Trump as a way that Bibi is a threat to what you're trying to achieve with Iran? I would like to. We already got so many responses. Okay, so who's next? Who wants to respond first?
Yes. Next on the list, we have Joseph. I would quickly comment that I would doubt that source. Washington Post is notoriously biased, number one. Number two, look at what they're citing. They're citing past intelligence officials, maybe Biden era, and they just got fired. That's one thing. Number two, how would past officials know what's going on right now? It doesn't make sense. Like, if you look at it on the face of what it's claiming, and current. Well, how current? How deep in? It's very nebulous about the sourcing of this intel, and it's a very biased newspaper. And we move on to Joseph. Joseph, come on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Washington Post is leftist. They have a lot of bias. I normally lump them in with like Wall Street Journal, CNN kind of thing. But with all this, unfortunately, like, it seems like so many people have turned against Israel defending itself. It needs to defend itself no matter what. In the US, if you lobbed, if you were in Mexico and you were a cartel and you lobbed rockets and shot and killed our citizens, don't you think we would respond? It wouldn't matter if Great Britain, China, Russia, like, if every country in the world told us, hey, don't defend yourself, don't respond, don't strike back. We're not going to give a shit. That's not going to matter. If you kill our citizens, we have the right to defend ourselves, just like Israel. If someone strikes Israelis, they deserve to defend themselves. I think right now there's just so much misinformation, and all these countries are trying to turn things to get the US to change their views and look bad against Israel. It's just my opinion.
Joseph, before we go to the next person, are you also noticing that there's a huge increase in anti-Israeli narrative, or is it the same as before? I mean, I know it was always high, but I think that there seems to be, like, everybody, like, everybody who's anti-Israeli is thinking that these are their best days, and they're working with each other, they're confirming each other. It just seems like really big. Are you noticing that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I'm noticing it. I work in the cyber realm, and I've noticed it. Last year, at the end of last year, there was a giant uptick in accounts that were spreading misinformation, and then early January around Maduro, and then we hit, all the conflict, and then especially recently, like right around the time that we were talking about discussing an MOU, there's just been a giant uptick in bots, and unfortunately people are feeding into it. And what they don't realize is there's a lot of CCP, Russian, IRGC influence that's funded and paid. And the one thing the IRGC is good at is misinformation. That's their most effective weapon. Militarily, they're screwed. But with this, the anti-Israeli rhetoric is ridiculous. I'm kind of shocked that people are believing it, but there's this sounding board that just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating, and people will start believing that, unfortunately. And especially since the signing of the MOU, it's probably increased I'm doing air quotes here, anti-Israeli, probably tenfold.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Who's next?
Next on the list, we have Sherry.
Actually, Sapir wants to go to sleep.
Yes. You know what? Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. so first of all, like everyone said earlier, yeah, that there are tons of bots that spread misinformation. There are also tons of bots that agreeing with that. So keep in mind, it's a cycle. Everyone here knows about the dead internet theory, right? And a lot of those hate posts that are made by bots are also answered by majority bots, which is very interesting. That's a thing that I found out through Israeli intelligence. A lot. Another thing is that we also need to separate between the anti-Israeli contact to pro-America contact, because a lot of people feel like Trump have been basically catering that in general, not just Trump, but that governments have been catering to Israel over and over, and that Israel is like sometimes listening and sometimes not, and like things are getting worse internally in the US. And that's a thing that really, that it's less about disliking Israel, it's more about why are we even helping Israel when we have our own problems inside. And this is a rhetoric that I see a lot. Most of the extreme rhetoric are either from delusional leftists that I see, or Islamists. And yes, there is a rise in anti-Israel rhetoric in general, but I would say that a lot of it is just it's just the critical, or we need to focus on our country and Israel does what it's doing. And at the same time of people like saying here, oh, Israel has every right now to respond to do. Yes, technically, but the world is not work on fair or what's right or what's wrong. Israel in the end is a sort of extension, a proxy of the US, you might say. And I will say it. We are basically the beacon of the West in the Middle East, and because of that, yes, yeah, sure, it would be fair for us to respond and do what we want to do and what we deserve to do, but in the end, we still need to kind of go back and forth to feel the agenda of the West, because in the end, and I want to remind people that it's beyond just Israel and Iran and Hezbollah. It's a battle of ideologies between Western ideologies and more Eastern or ideologies and Islamist ideologies, and Israel is kind of in the middle of it.
I mean, yeah, Israel is a powerful country exactly because it governs by the Western Enlightenment values. That is completely true, in my opinion. But it is also true that it doesn't get better than Israel when it comes to U.S. allies, right? So I wouldn't say a proxy of the United States, because proxies can kind of suggest that they have full control over you, right? A proxy is I tell you what to do and you do it. Israel is an ally of United States, and it's a best ally of the United States. So like it's a model country when it comes to being an ally of the United States. And that's
I'd
why
say it's something in between. That's the thing. I think we're an ally, but I also think
Sapir,
we're
let
type of a
me
proxy.
finish my
Yes.
point before you open your. So let me actually finish what I was saying. Proxy suggests that you're like, we're the puppeteers. We tell you what to do and you follow our orders. That's what a proxy does. An ally is about mutual interest, and is an ally. Like a proxy doesn't have a proxy is not a sovereign country with its own independent decision making ability. An ally's priority is what the desire of its own citizens, right? That's what an ally. An ally is an ally because it has realized that to serve my citizens, I need friends, and I will be a stronger country with stronger friends. That's what an ally is. A proxy doesn't prioritize the votes of the citizens or the people that it's governing over. A proxy prioritizes the wishes of its master, the state that it's a proxy of. So that's the difference. But yeah, go on. Sorry, Seppi.
Yeah, the reason I say that we are kind of a proxy, it's not like we're a full proxy, but we're also not a full ally. Now, and this is like a very Israeli perspective, that we look at decisions that are being made, especially in the past 2.5 years, where you'd see this kind of back and forth that sometimes we're doing things exactly the way we want it, and sometimes you have those all back and forth with the U.S. government. To some degree, we do have to listen. Like we do have to obey in a certain level to U.S. commands. Not fully, we are still sovereign, but there is a line here that we're kind of in between. At least that is the feeling in Israel, that we are, yes, we're a separate country, but we also kind of a puppet. We something in between. I don't know how else to explain it.
All right. I mean, if you are a puppet and you're a proxy, you should stop being it, because that's not how to treat. Like, that is not how you should be treating. United States should be treating an ally. And some look at this. Look at this. So I'm saying, Armin, she understood you. You're just very slow sometimes. Well, you're retarded, because I didn't say that she didn't understand me. Like, never did I suggest that she doesn't understand me. Of course she understood me. Why wouldn't she understand? What the fuck did I say that suggests that she doesn't understand me? I was just finishing my point for the sake of everyone else, not because I thought that she doesn't understand me. Are you retarded or something? Anyways, who's next?
Yes. I'd also like to remind everybody, sometimes we have a train of thought, and getting derailed is what might Armin be talking about. I could be wrong, but that it has an effect. Next to reply is Cherry. No, Joseph. My bad. Joseph is the one that was up. No, it was Cherry. Okay, Cherry. You go ahead and go to sleep, Sapira. Glad to know you're okay.
I
think so.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, Armin. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, love you, Sapir. That's all. So go and Sherry.
No, I love you too. See y'all, guys. Good night.
Good night.
I think Sapira did a good job of distinguishing the two. I see it a little differently on her wording, but I think she did a good job, and I'm glad she got to share that. Also, I just wanted to, Washington Post, y'all have already covered that. That's clickbait, ridiculous nonsense. Exactly with what Armin was saying. And I think Rubio also had said it. He said, if somebody's bombing you, it's stupid not to respond. I have also seen an uptick in anti-Israel increase, of course, after October 7th, but then also again since Trump, Orange Man Bad, has decided to go do something everybody else has talked about doing but isn't doing, and that's getting rid of this terrorist regime in Iran. But I also had a question, and I don't know that anybody has, and I hope, Armin, you can answer this for me, maybe Jap, somebody here. Why is it that all we talk about in Lebanon is Hezbollah, the terrorist organization, but nobody ever talks about the responsibility of the government of Lebanon to take care of their terrorist organization? Why? I mean, what the hell is that? I love Israel and United States working together. There's no way, in shape or form, they should be putting up with this, but nobody ever talks about what the government of of Lebanon and what their responsibility is in getting rid of or taking care of the own terrorist regime in their own country.
Well, there's a simple answer to that, because they are weak. They don't have a proper military. Their military is pathetically weak relative to Hezbollah. I think every Hezbollah soldier gets paid, what is it, 3 times or 4 times the amount of the Lebanese military, because they get the Iranian oil money paid to them. I think Jeffrey will have the numbers, but they get paid so much more. They have so much more equipment. They're more ideological. Like, the Lebanese army has no chance compared to relative to Hezbollah's army. Like, the biggest military in Lebanon is Hezbollah, not the Lebanese government military, and by a huge margin. Like, the Lebanese army doesn't even come close to Hezbollah's military power, not even like remotely close. So the only thing the Lebanese government could do is like, hey, Hezbollah, give us your weapon. And Hezbollah is like, nah. I'm like, please. And they're like, nope. And they're like, but you must. And Hezbollah are like, we're not gonna. And then the most they could do is get angry. And it's like, fuck you, you have to. We're the official government. We tell you to give up your weapons. And they're gonna, let me tell you how bad it is. Iran's foreign minister in Lebanon, the Lebanese government tell them that you're not welcome here anymore. Go back to Iran. And Iran's, like, the Islamic Republic foreign minister in Lebanon said, nope, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm here. And like, what are you talking about? This is the first time, I think, in history where officially the government of a country told a foreign minister to leave, and they're not welcome here anymore. And they stayed. So this is, and they're like, yep, no, I'm still the foreign minister, because the Islamic Republic's foreign minister in Lebanon considers Hezbollah to be the ruling authority, not the Lebanese government. So they're like, I'm going to stay here, and you can't do anything about it. And he was right. He's still there. He's officially, like, the Lebanese government has officially said, you're not the foreign minister anymore. And he said, no, I am, and I'm going to stay here. This is, by the way, this is imperialism. This is an act of invasion. Lebanon is a colony of the Islamic Republic. When the government of Lebanon tells the Islamic Republic foreign minister to get the fuck out, and he just stays. So think about this, Sherry. You're saying, like, why can't the Lebanese government fight against Hezbollah? They can't even kick out a foreign minister. That guy is not even armed. They can't kick out an individual that is not armed. They can't even kick him out, let alone the rest of the Hezbollah government. So there's that. It's pathetic.
May I respond to that?
Yeah, of course.
I understand exactly what you just said. What I think my point is, why is the rest of the world not putting pressure on Lebanon to help themselves, their own government to help themselves, just such as, the best analogy I can have is probably a bad one, and Jeff will probably point that out. But a bad analogy would be, Russia absolutely has superior force over Ukraine, but we are trying to, the rest of the world is saying, we need to fix this, this can't be happening, etc. And again, probably a very bad example. But Lebanon at one time was from what I understand, a mostly Christian Jewish state. And I just don't understand why the rest of the world is not doing their due part to help Lebanon government take control over their own country, instead of just being whatever. Right. I'm talking about the rest of the world, not just the Lebanese government. I'm sorry, now I'll shut up.
No, that was it. No, don't shoot. That's a really good point. I'm going to let other people respond to this as well, because I don't want to keep responding to you, because I think other people have some really good points on this. So let's move on to others.
Yes, next to respond is Jose.
Okay, back to the original topic. I think I've been taken off track by Sherry's comment. I want to respond to that too. Washington Post You already heard the fact that it's left leaning. And Sketch has already told everybody that the sources are X security. Okay. So is this just pure speculation? In my opinion, hell yeah, it's just pure speculation. Okay. And it fits in line with what the Post believes, that this is an unjust war, that we are trying to split the Iranian people, that there is no problem between the Iranian people and the Mullah regime, that there was no massacre of 42,000. So, I mean, why listen to it? Okay. As far as Sherry's comment, Christian Amanpour of CNN was interviewing the president, whatever, the guy in charge of Lebanon. And he flat out told her that the issue was not basically the issue can only be solved one way, and this is his. I'm going to try to quote him exactly. Hezbollah needs to put down the weapons and get to the negotiating table. That ought to tell you how weak they are. The Lebanese military is. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. And let other people bring it up after that. But just remember, people, not all the newspapers in the United States, not all the television stations in the United States. Yeah, for a little while they sounded like they were all pro this, pro this, pro this, and then all of a sudden they go against it. That's their MO. They're out to sell copies of paper. They're out to get subscribers to their channels. They don't care if it's true or not. They just want money inside.
Okay.
All right. Next on the list we have Ramens. Ramens, go ahead, please.
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, Armin. Good to see you. You look good, sexy, like normal. Everything is fine. So I have a few thoughts. Like, it seems that people tend to forget the mask off moment on October 7th. Like, the media, what they have shown since then till today, like Donald Trump called it out back in 2016, fake news, and people were like, what the fuck is he talking about? Now we know, due to like podcasts and information, is so much like you can go to the source directly so much easier. BBC, how they frame like about these rape gangs or rape victims. So like we all know that the apparatus, big apparatus of media, has been and is compromised by left activists. That is just a fact. If Trump, it's like Trump said on that when he was interviewed at the G7 or whatever it's called. He said, "If I do it that way, they will. If they will say it's that way, should be okay. If I do it right, they say left. If I do it left, they will say right. So that's they are operating to be with ill will. Like they are not based on truth or like the integrity of journalism. That's all gone, and it's so sad because that's like it should be a law for that. Whatever, they are exactly the same apparatus that they are funding, but they are funded by the same type of money that Carlson, what's his name? What the fuck is his name?
Tucker
Carlson? Exactly. Tucker Carlson, Meghan Kelly, Candice Owens, all these motherfuckers are paid by either Qatar, China, or Russia. Obviously, we know that. This media, the fake news, New York Times, like they have been during the war almost being traitors because they are saying Iran is winning. They are like taking what the Islamic Republic of Iran is stating, and they take that as a source from terrorists. So like it's so disgusting, and we shouldn't even take it seriously. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we even taking that seriously? And I have also a comment about the proxy claim, because I don't think. First of all, I respect a lot of what you said, and agree with a lot of what you said. But you are not representing all of Israelis, and they are not sharing that they are like a proxy to United States, because like literally they are an ally, and it's defined by like they're working cooperatively based on like mutual agreements, alignments, interests. Both parties retain full autonomy, share risks and rewards symmetrically, and act out of long term strategic alignment. Where there is a proxy, they are subordinated agent and funded and controlled by a principal party to achieve specific objects indirectly. So it's a different setup on the fundamental architecture behind the word proxy and the word ally. So I believe we should be very careful with what words we are using in this context, because they are different things. So I just wanted to say that, and I love you all, and I love you, and fuck you, and yeah.
I love you. Okay, okay. Yeah,
I'll be canceled.
you have to buy all of us dinner first, okay? Anyways, who's next?
Yes, actually, yes. I would like to share something with Ramens. I'm putting a link in. I'm not trying to promote my channel, but in that link, you will see that you are right about funding. When it comes to funding, I believe China is number one with around 7 billion, 400, about 400 million, no, close to 500 million of that is going for lobbying. Then a large portion is going into universities and media and NGOs, and these NGOs wind up banking a lot of these podcasters on the left and the right. Qatar is followed by around 6 billion, and they have, let me see over here. Well, I mean, the numbers are astronomical. Qatar has around 250 million in FARA lobbying. That's just straight up lobbying. And around 5 billion, 5 to 7 in indirect lobbying through NGOs, university think tanks. The Saudi Arabia, 310 million straight into FARA lobbying. I mean, Israel has less. It has 0.7 million. Like it doesn't have 100 million. Doesn't have 10 million. They're like not living. They're not getting past the stereotype of being stingy as far as getting the money out there, because all these people are giving billions upon billions, and Israel is not even reaching 1 million. They're not even reaching 100 million. My bad. UAE, 2 billion. Japan has, well, Japan, they're kind of on our side, but they only have, like everyone else is below that, 400 million. Like the ones that are putting billions and billions and billions into taking the right and putting it against our interest, and the left and putting it against our interest in every bot account you see. These NGOs, I bet a lot of these NGOs are paying for bot farms. I bet you money they are. They do it in Hollywood to prop up their artist accounts. Why wouldn't they do that? So I just want to bolster the point that Ramens was making, that there is a lot of funding that comes from the outside to divide us. And, it's a marriage. Sometimes you got to do what your wife says. Sometimes, your wife kind of has to go along with you. It's not always, we agree 100% on everything. It's normal. And with that, we move on to Mano.
Cool. Thanks, everyone. Actually, at some point, I wanted to take back my 2 because I didn't want to sound repetitive, because my original take was on the original topic was quite similar to what's been shared regarding Washington Post. I was just going to share that, my view is, anybody with the brain could just tell that Israel was eventually going to be attacked by Hezbollah, and they were gonna, and by responding, the media was gonna reframe it differently. Even CIA's input. But otherwise, I thought I'd just share my perspective on the reactions of my community to the conflict in general and how they regard Israel. So I'm from a Southern African country, but I do live in New Jersey. So for myself, just from a propaganda war perspective, like my pro-Israel stance, my conservative pro-right stance is extremely unpopular in my community, right? Because most of the people in my community tend to just adopt very simplified narratives. So in their minds, the Islamic Republic, who was minding their own business, American Israel just decided to bomb them. That's how they view the whole thing, no matter how hard you try to explain to people. So I even go as far as like, okay, listen, like Hamas shouldn't have done this, because I explained that, listen, Hamas is one of the proxies that was funded by this regime. This didn't come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? I did explain, obviously I do talk about the history of the conflict, the occupational conflict between Israel and Palestine, the role that the regime has been playing in funding the proxies. So even when I do tell these people, like, listen, imagine you're the prime minister of this country, and you're surrounded by proxies that have billions of dollars pumped into them every single year, and their sole purpose is to wipe out your race completely. Are you going to sit down and do nothing? So even when you try to hammer this thing down people's heads, in my community, like they just don't get it. To them, it's as simple as Israel should have just done nothing, but they don't understand that this is about survival, because the media has done such a good job at selling a narrative to people. I always try to get people to understand that the media is not here to educate. It's a business model. They want to sell a narrative, and they're selling a narrative to a specific group that they're monetizing from. They're not here to inform you. You got to do your own homework. So yeah, just to emphasize that this is a very powerful, propaganda war that we're in. And in my case, I'm a Black African male living in New Jersey. For someone like me, it's like taboo to look like me and believe a certain thing that doesn't line up with how the majority thinks. So in my community, it's like, if you look the way I do, you have to think like everybody else, and throw away every variable like logic, common sense, throw it all away. If you're Black, you have to think like this, and full stop. When you go against the grain, it's a huge problem. It's almost like a civil war against me and my family and my friends and everybody when it comes to the specific issues of U.S. politics and Israel and the Middle East. So yeah, it's like a stronghold, but we all got to do our part, I believe, nonetheless.
Well, Matt, I'm sorry for what you have to go through, and thank you so much for standing your ground. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I kind of get that from the New Ricans too. Like, Puerto Ricans have to have a certain opinion, but I don't. Like a lot of people over here in the island don't. So I can feel that. Next on the list, we have Nitani. Nitani, go ahead, please.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Great. So yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what Mario said, and actually, I kind of had some similar things to say in mind, but I'll try to steer around it and just endorse his thoughts. But on whether the Washington Post report is true, I mean, I think it's pretty easy to round up a handful of intelligence agents to throw dirt at Israel. I mean, I just think about let's say John Kiriakou, Edward Snowden, Sean Ryan, and like Joe Kent's best buddy who's still in the fold, and you can get quotes from those people, and then that particular line about current and former intelligence officials could be technically accurate, and I could say that like there could be, I believe that there could be a handful of intelligence officials who even believe the sort of the worst the worst about Israel, and that wouldn't prevent it from still being an op like those that I know that there are, or at least I have the sense that there are former intelligence officials who are at least in practice anti-American. I think that overall the article suffers from what most coverage of Israel suffers from, which is lies of omission. and the kind of uncritical rubber stamping of anti-Israel propaganda. I think that they imply and allow their consumers to believe that Israeli actions are gratuitous temper tantrums, and they almost completely ignore the security challenges that Israel faces. So it's like, I mean, this is just seems to be like the mainstream consensus about Israel is very much, I think, is very much colored by this this very uneven approach to what's going on there. I think that unfortunately Israel has become a kind of a casualty of the long march through the institutions, and support for Israel needs to be kind of built from the ground up. I think that this group here is part of the solution, and I'm very grateful for you all for participating in that. But yeah, it does feel like the tenor around Israel is so toxic and so full of bullshit that it almost feels like we've lost a generation. I'm very sad about that, but we still have to keep fighting. And as for Israel, I'm definitely nervous about the American alliance fraying and the impact of the information war. But if I was forced to choose, I'd still take a military strategic success over a PR one. So I think that Israel has to endure all the hate, and has to endure all the lies and all the propaganda, and has to stay alive. And as friends of Israel, it's our job to sort of help to figure out how we're going to build up that support, and to network with like-minded people around the world. Thank you.
That was very well said.
I agree. I like that very much. I also hate the Frankfurt School of Cultural Marxism and their long march through the institutions. Terrible thing. Next up on the list, we have Charles. I mean, I liked all the other points too. Charles, step up ahead, please.
It's Jeffrey.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm
Can you
sorry.
guys hear me?
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Jeffrey, if you want to go, you can go, Matt.
You go first, brother. I'll go after you.
Okay, cool. So, good evening to everyone. I think that Israel's problems at the moment with regards to the propaganda that's getting spread, if you have a close look at Lebanon, and being a little bit older, even though I know I look quite young, when I was in my teenage years, I remember clearly Hezbollah popping up off the scene. And if you look at the structure of the government within Lebanon, you'll find that it's sectarian in nature. And the Maronite Christian section basically got hijacked by Hezbollah when they started to run out of people to basically back them up, not knowing what it would bring further down the line. So the problem that the West has now, especially the older generation, is that they can't differentiate between Lebanon and Hezbollah. So you find that a lot of people are saying Lebanon has a right to defend itself, but they don't understand that the Lebanese government is asking Israel to help them to get rid of Hezbollah. And they putting Hezbollah and the Lebanese government under one tent. And unfortunately, that drives the propaganda further, because it actually is very impactful. It's believable. The crazy fake news, most people that have some type of sensible nature will look at that stuff and just disagree with it completely. But most people don't sit and study the conflict as you guys have in your group, and those of us who research it in our spare time. So most of them, their opinions just aren't educated enough to express. And that's what's coming out on social media. And unfortunately, the same thing happens with Israel at the moment too. People are failing to differentiate between the country and some things that some of the ministers there do. Just like any democracy, they're going to have fighting and so on. You can look at any of them, they've all got that. So people are looking at one person instead of the bigger picture, just like on the other side. And I think that answers Sherry's question. She asked earlier, why is nobody doing anything about Lebanon? It's precisely because Lebanon's lie, well, Hezbollah's lie about Lebanon is widely believed. They consider the important parts of their government being almost, they above the armed forces over there. At the stage, the Saudi Arabians were busy funding those guys. So I don't think that they get much help from their government. There's not much they can do, and you'll find that their family members are probably in Hezbollah, busy getting paid far more than them being in the armed forces. So the help from inside Lebanon, inside that region, it needs to actually come to light, the truth over there. Unfortunately, the amplification of this false propaganda and whatever else goes along with it is a little bit overwhelming at the moment. But given how things go, I would say in a few days, the topics will change, because something will change rapidly as the leaders who are a part of this battle start to see the damage that this type of stuff does. And I'm pretty sure Vance, Rubio, and Trump are playing some type of game with these guys, looking at that specifically on a PR front and figuring out how to use it against them, because they've been quite effective so far in certain areas of that war. So that's pretty much me done.
Those are some really good points. Thank you for sharing that. And we were actually Ali actually found these ads inside Iran on the walls regard recruiting, and Sketches reminded me of that. Posters on walls in Iran telling people that they could go fight for Hezbollah just recently, just a few days ago. And it was saying you get paid $1,000 a month, free food and free shelter, like place to live, training and opportunity to go up the ranks, which is like, and you don't have to have any experience to join. Like $1,000 a month is pretty big money over there, and it's more than anything the Lebanese army could pay, and it goes a long way. That you could do a lot with $1,000 a month, like with the price of food and stuff over there.
I would also like to add that one member in the group had pointed out that they have better insurance for their homes if there is a strike in Lebanon than they do in Iran. In Iran, if you get hit by a strike, no one's going to help you. But in Lebanon, if you get hit by a strike from Israel, Iran is going to send money to that person. So the outside support for Hezbollah is something that can't be forgotten. And perhaps how little support the Lebanese government gets as far as weapon or trust, I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't be trusted. Maybe they should. But I don't think they're getting the economic support to fight off the economic support that Hezbollah is getting from the outside. And I think that's a good point to bring up. Like Charles brought up a great point. With that, we should go on to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, go ahead, please.
You guys bet. Actually, a lot of good points brought up. I'm going to probably bounce off of some of them. And with regards to how it is that Hezbollah is not an Islamic fundamentalism, is of course not indigenous to Lebanon. True Lebanese are Phoenician and Christian, not Islamic fundamental, like Transjordanian and Islamic fundamentalists in nature. How it got to become that is during the latter part of the Soviet era of the Cold War, you had Soviet-backed radical left-wing and/or Islamic fundamentalist terrorists like the PFLP that was directly supported by the Soviet Union with training and funding. And like, actually, Armin, you and Goldie has actually attended events of a certain lady who actually tragically had to suffer that when she grew up. Her name's Brigitte Gabriel. She's a good lady, Brigitte. She's a great actor. America. I know Brigitte. You should tell her I said hi. In any case, so that's how they got entrenched there. right? And so this keeps going on and on. You have a lot of foreign assistance. So, Hezbollah gets direct and indirect assistance, even in the post-Soviet era, from Putin's criminalized counterintelligence state, the Chinese Communist Party, and of course the IRGC, and now regime remnants. They are indeed the fifth arm of the regime remnants. So where does that kind of shake out when it comes to the Lebanese armed forces, or the LAF, vis-a-vis Hezbollah's kinetic wing, right? Like they're the people who are directly involved in fighting. So last I checked, I think the LAF, or the Lebanese armed forces, had between 60 to like 80,000 active duty personnel. Some say 65, so between 60 and 80. Hezbollah's military wing has about, last I checked, 40 to 50,000 active combatants with a lot of reserves. So on edge, it seems like the LAF has on paper, like the LAF has a slight edge. When it comes to reserves, Hezbollah has a significant edge. When it comes to rocket and missile arsenals, the Lebanese armed forces are have very limited conventional artillery. Hezbollah is the most heavily armed, or at least was and probably still is, most heavily armed sub-state transnational terrorist organization on the planet. Before the 12-day war and or certain shaping operations, even before that, past couple of years, you're talking about 150,000 plus rockets and missiles of various ranges, sizes, types, and everything else, plus precision missiles, cruise missiles. Now they have thousands of suicide UAVs. A lot of that is either directly facilitated vis-a-vis Putin, Chi-Coms, or their knockoff and derivatives, like the Noose anti-ship missile is very much a derivative of a Chinese Communist Party anti-ship missile that's borne out, well, I'm going to get to that. So like anti-tank ground weapons, the LAF has very much older tanks. I think they have about probably 300-ish, a little more, 6, 7. They're mostly outdated. Hezbollah is one of the best armed sub-state transnational terrorist organizations when it comes to anti-tank, man-packed portable anti-tank missiles. Indeed, you can see that borne out in the 2006 Hezbollah IDF war, when Putin provided RPG-29 Vampires, took out like 27% of Israel's armor force during that conflict, like including Merkava 4s, which is saying something, because the Merkava 4 is the most heavily survivable tank on the planet. In some cases, maybe even more than our M1 Abrams. Air power. So like in drones, again, the LAF has like an outdated Air Force. They have dozens of light aircraft. Hezbollah has limited traditional air defense. They have very strong UAV capability, because that's where everybody's going. So Hezbollah has the edge there. When it comes to training and doctrine, this is also particular when it comes to leveraging, say, friendly forces inside, regime remnant occupied Iran, Artesh versus, say, Besiege and IRGC whack jobs. So LAF, right, very much conventional infantry focused, multi kind of sectarian. Hezbollah, very much hybrid guerrilla plus conventional. They're very excellent at concealment, terrain use, ambushes. They very much have an edge there, particularly as it defines conflict in in Lebanon. Funding, like LAF gets low national defense budget. Sketch had mentioned this, so did Armin, very readily so. They're heavily reliant on U.S. and foreign aid. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Hezbollah gets quite a bit of funding, as Armin very rightly pointed out, like over $1 billion in 2025. So Hezbollah has a lot of advantages operationally because of their backing. When it comes to training, Hezbollah has an edge in almost every area that is pertinent when it comes to hybrid guerrilla and asymmetric warfare in urban situations. And that's not because Lebanese aren't brave. It's because of a lot of structural issues. They get low pay. Many soldiers have secondary jobs. There's political interference, all this other shit. So, yeah, we provide the LAF some support. It's true. I think they've received, give me a little rope here, maybe about 3 billion since 2006. I mean, Hezbollah got $1 billion in 1 year alone. So these are like all these different challenges that are facing like the Lebanese government and armed forces from ejecting, Hezbollah. So I mean, there's like a lot of that's it's not easy. It's really not easy. They need assistance, which is why Armin and others very much accurately have stated there's a reason true Lebanese are very happy about and actively ask for the IDF's involvement in Lebanon, because they had these monsters that have injected themselves and preying on Lebanese citizens for 50 fucking years that are very much significantly backed by very powerful foreign patrons, right? Putin's Russia, Chi-Coms, IRGC remnants, shake a stick, you'll hit an asshole. Used to be Assad's Alawite regime. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not unreasonable to ask, well, why can't Lebanon handle it? Yes, Lebanese government has some corruption to it, to be sure. There's structural issues there. This is not like there's a reason that IDF is operating in Lebanon. And if it were up to me, actually, we kind of pushed up the chain like policies to defang Hezbollah. I posted some of that in the after show, right? It's not recorded. There's a reason that was pushed up the chain. They have to, they got to go. So anyway, I just kind of figured I'd give you a quick rundown, maybe not so quick, to kind of provide maybe a toolbox and a flashlight to help, see why it is Armin very rightly and others posted and stated what they did.
All right, guys, we do need to, we are on this topic for 1 hour and there are other topics as well. I think we should put a time limit per topic. I don't know if we could do that. But how many people are left for the response for this topic?
I think I'm going to close out the response. I would like to thank Sherry for pointing out this doubt that people have about what's going on with Lebanon, their funding, their forces, their ability to fight that. And Samantha wanted me to point out that
how many people do we have to for this topic? Can we go through them really quickly? How many people?
It was Ramins who wanted to say something quickly, and then it was some Raymonds. I don't know.
Ramins. Okay.
He was X'd, and he just wanted to say something quickly because he forgot to say something.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ramins.
I'm sorry to occupy this topic. I just want to share, if we take a helicopter and just go up a bit, no one has mentioned what I've heard, but the assassination of Prime Minister Rafik Hariri in 2005, we didn't have access for information as we would have today. If a prime minister would be assassinated by a terrorist group in a country, it would be crazy. They got some backlash from UN from their meetings, but nothing more. So that crippled the political system of Lebanon. So Hezbollah could create their own government within the government and build from there. And also, yes, Lebanon was a Christian country. There's still many Christians there that they are in similar situation that Iranians are, but I don't know why I don't hear so many protesters from Lebanon now when they have a chance for the first time since they got occupied to become free. So I really don't get that. I mean, they are Arabs. They spoke Arabic, but they are Christians. It's a Christian country, like Egypt was. And I'm not going to go on. So I just wanted to point that out, like that assassination, and that nothing happened. No one attacked Hezbollah or something. That is also a big factor. I just wanted to add that. Sorry.
I'm also sorry. The chat is acting funny for me. I think school is having some issues today. I didn't see that other two from you. And the last thing I was going to say was just to read off some names. These are the latest victims of this war. This is from the Israeli side: Lieutenant Colonel Dor Gedelia Ben Shimon, 32, young person; Staff Sergeant Yoav Klein, 21. This is also a very young person. Sergeant First, I mentioned Sergeant First Class Nir Ben Ari, 21 years old. So, we have lost people in the Iran war. Jewish people have been losing in this latest engagement. We have all lost people to the IRGC and their proxies for a very long time. So in this, we should have a certain unity. And I appreciate for Samantha for pointing out that, yeah, we're all losing lives here, and we should be a united front against the IRGC and their proxies. And with that, we could move on to the next topic. I'm going to try to cut down the topics to around 10 minutes each. We have 4 topics left.
So can I read the super chats now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I also want to appreciate what you just did, Sketch. That was very important. Thank you so much for reading their names. Thank you so much for paying attention to doing that. That was really good.
That credit goes to Samantha. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, thank you, Samantha. Thank you. That's really nice. I'm sorry for your loss. Okay, so More Stars Than Sand just became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Aristotle or Plato become a member. Thank you so much for joining us. Fleshy Interloper saying a lot of IDF injuries as well. That's a good point. We shouldn't forget that as well. Thank you so much, Fleshy Interloper, for bringing that to our attention. And Ida is saying number two super chat and saying yes, no, maybe. And saying also dumb motherfucker. She always wants to. I don't know why she likes me saying that, but yeah, I'll do that for you, Ida. Thank you for that. And then we have BT with a super chat saying, I know I'm supposed to be off, but I'm addicted. Vance was given a leash and is hanging himself with it, making Rubio to 2028 that much closer. I hope that's what's happening here, BT. That would be, if that's what's happening, I'm all for it. And Jangir, which is Ramin's right here, just gave us a super chat saying test. And then he gave another super chat. Thank you so much, Ramins, with a super chat saying, you need a fucking reality check, USA. I'm going to send it. Oh, okay. It was Jahangir is going to bring a reality check for the United States, and also with a heart at the end. And also Fleshy Interloper with a super chat saying, how are Hezbollah still getting funds? I mean, the Islamic Republic funding, like source of revenue, didn't go to zero, and Hezbollah is a priority for them over other things. So they will cut from other things before they cut from Hezbollah. So that's why Hezbollah is still getting. They did get less funds than before, but they still do get funding. I know they're getting funding less than before because some Hezbollah people were complaining about the reducing funding. But it is a priority for the Islamic Republic. And also last super chat from Ida saying, thank you, Armin. You're welcome. Glad to be of service. All right. Okay. What's the next topic?
Yes, the next topic is on Wikipedia. I think we were talking about that last time. Go ahead, Helda.
Hi, all. My topics, I have 2. They're basically just possible suggestions of things that we could work on to try to change, the American perspective. But I putting in the link here to Wikipedia, and I just noticed today that under the 2026 Iran war page, it shows that the result as being an Iranian victory. And it's being disputed right now. And I think that it would really be beneficial if all of us, that were able to, would go in and dispute it and try to get that resolved. That's basically all I had for that particular suggestion.
This is crazy. Like how? Okay, let me see which part of the page says that.
So if you go down to like right under the pictures, it says date, location, result. And under the result, it literally says Iranian victory. And then right after that, there's a hyperlink that's disputed. And I think that if we, worked as a group to try to dispute this, with some reputable sources, we could possibly get that changed.
That is crazy.
And I think, well, it would be really beneficial because Americans believe this kind of stuff. I mean, if it's on Wikipedia, it's like I don't know, the Bible or something.
Yeah, let me actually quickly show this to people on YouTube, what you're talking about. So if we go here, and then if we zoom in, it says result. Okay, it's my computer is freezing. Oh, there we go. Result Iran victory right here. That is insane. And this is, yeah, on 2026 Iran war. Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Did anybody put a 2 in the chat? Anybody has an opinion on this?
Yes. Yes, okay. I'm going to put the upset monkey face because I'm kind of upset at that. And go ahead, Jeff.
So that's one of the issues regarding Wikipedia. It's a open source copyleft entity, which means anybody can add things. This is why one of the co-founders of Wikipedia said you should not use it as a primary source and you should be very cautious as to using it. Tragically, if you have people who are either pressed for time, they're, let's say less studious and or damaged from neurocog warfare via TikTok, which means they don't want to view things for very long, right? They want that serotonin bump very quickly. They might be just like predisposed to that, which is why you get a lot of pro, IRGC, Mullah Remnant, Chicom, Putin assholes posting stupid shit. Well, a lot of people, a lot of nefarious actors of all stripes try to misuse Wikipedia to sway public opinion. What's it that bin Laden, that fucker, said, and he was cited in the Joint Operational Environment of 2010 from the United States Joint Forces Command? Today's world is a world of public opinion. Obtain the tools of public opinion and anything you ask for can be yours. It also outlines why these efforts that everybody does, including everybody in this room, Armin, Goldie, Tusi, everybody here is so important in winning the battle of the narratives. Well done.
Go on, Sketch.
Put a 2, but go ahead. I was gonna say put a 2 down for. I'm gonna put you down for a 2, Ramens. Okay. What I was gonna say is that it's important that we find out how to dispute this, and also if we are able to talk to anybody who knows Fox. If you have contacts in Fox, if you have contacts on OEN News, they could make a piece out of this. Anybody that can, in any news source that can get to that, should have it up there, just to expose Wikipedia as how can you call this a win? If it's technically impossible to call this a win, and I would suggest and implore anyone to do that. I also don't know how disputing works. So if anyone can tell us exactly how to dispel this or dispute it, or how the Wikipedia system works on this, if you have to make an account, whatever the steps are, just let it be clear out there for the people so they can know how to do that. I do believe that this is a very, very good topic. And that's my suggestion. Anybody that has links to the media, links to people that can, in the administration, let them know about this.
Yeah.
All right. Next
AI feeds from Wikipedia, so a lot of people who don't check Wikipedia and ask AI are not going to be given that information as well. But yeah. But who's next?
Next, Ramens wanted to get a 2 in. Go ahead, Ramen.
Yeah. I just wanted to say the best way to do it. Put it on X and inform the X community what's going on, and they will destroy this, dismantle this with proofs. Like they have a tool kit for that. So that's the most efficient way to destroy Wikipedia narratives. Put it on X and let the truth come out from there. That's one. Two, I said in the super chat, I'm gonna give Americans a reality check. I just feel like people are forgetting the effect of Israel in this specific war in the Middle East, in Iran. Like without the intelligence of Mossad, America would never be able to hit those beautiful two bombers in that mountain, for example. Like there is so many things that Israel is contributing with in this war, and I just feel that IDF is not getting any props. Like they are the most efficient agency in that region, and they have so much intelligence. And I just want people to get reminded of that. I love American troops. I pray for them every day. Same with the IDF. I just felt that IDF was just getting fucked by not getting the roses and flowers as they should get.
All right, I'm going to switch back to the happy monkey because I like that answer. I'd like to remind people that Elon Musk created Grokpedia specifically because Wikipedia sucks. He has a whole Grokpedia that's there to dispute everything that Wikipedia is lying about. I believe Elon Musk may be an ally in this because it would serve his own interest to say, hey, Wikipedia is lying about this war. Go to Grokpedia. So it's a way to make Wikipedia change their stance. Or two, turn it into a story. Three, it gets Elon involved. That's an account that has a lot of push. If he gets involved in talking about this, which is why I like the idea of like having a push on Twitter for him to see what Wikipedia is saying about this war, because if he starts tweeting about it, all the news agencies are going to like, either quietly change it and ignore it, or have an article about it. So this Twitter angle is very important. And with that, we go on to Anada Sankar.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the first time with you guys in this video call, or can you
You're
hear
breaking
me?
up a little.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah. Is it clear now?
It's a little bit, you're cutting in and out a bit.
So I just refresh my internet.
Okay. Do you want to try? Okay, so you're cutting.
Like,
You're
is
cutting.
it better now?
Okay, maybe try. Just say your comment then, and maybe try to shorten it because of the internet issue. Okay, the lag is very long as well. So maybe if you want, you could write your comment in the chat, and then we could read it.
I'll read it out. I'll read it out. I'll read out your comment, and you write it over here on the right, and I'll read it out. While you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to
like, is
Jose.
it clear? Is it clear now? Is it clear now?
Sketch you to say.
You're still Yes, I'm hearing you break up. I don't know if anybody else can hear him. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hearing you break up. So let's not just keep trying this, because that would take a lot of time. Just us going back and forth. How about you just write the comment in the chat?
Okay. I am doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Jose, go ahead, please.
Okay, I just went to Wikipedia. I use it for other reasons. It's a very good source for game rules for games. Not very good source for political. Adam Story. Okay. Now, there is a line at the very top that says talk. Click that line and you'll see that it's been disputed massive amount of times. Okay. And every time it's been disputed, someone's come back saying this is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. I saw at least 15 disputes in that manner. It's not going to be changed by Wikipedia unless they get a bombardment of stuff. I've never had to go on Wikipedia and change anything myself because, like I said, I use it for games, game rules, because they do a pretty good job of eventually getting everything right as to how games work. But I don't use it for any other reason whatsoever. Politics, that's stupidity. You know, news about the war, that's grand stupidity. That's just someone trying to push a narrative. Yeah, Elon Musk might be a good way to go. But I don't know how to change it. Helda, it's a good idea. I'll look into it myself. If I find something, I'll post it to the group chat. Not here, but on the outside. I'll make it a mission.
All right, I'm looking for Delai's message. I want to remind you, it has a character limit. So when you write it, copy it to yourself. Like make sure to like a Control X so you have a copy of it. And if it tells you it's too long, you can break it up. I do have to move on to other topics, so I'm going to watch out for what you read, and finish with that. Just telling Armin, hey, whoever you know in any news channel you've been on or any podcast, let them know, hey, this is going on if you want to cover it. And, you know, maybe talk to Ed Goldie if she knows people at Fox. Let them try to cover it. Anyone who could cover it would be great. Just tweet at Elon. Everybody tweet at Elon about this. And that's what I'll finish with. I'm going to let you go ahead with some super chats. I believe we have 4 super chats. And maybe we can come back with Dulai. I'm going to see if he gets this message across.
Okay, so we have Micha Nuga with a super chat saying, Armin, what happened to the Fez? Love this format. Oh, well, thank you. Well, the Fez is right back there. I can't keep putting it on all the time. I mean, I think, and I like it, but I don't think I look good in it. But yeah, but thank you for appreciating the Fez. Okay, so there's that. And it is, I love it as a gift, though. It's a beautiful gift. And then we got another super chat from Ramins Jahangir saying 3 most important men on this planet are Elon Musk, Trump, and Bibi. Yeah, and I would add to the Iranian people, Prince Reza Pahlavi. Just adding that to our list. And yep, but I do agree to the world. Yes, for sure. I think that's correct. And thank you so much, Jahangir, for the super chat. And then we have Fleshy Interloper with the super chat saying Texas equals West Israel. Okay. Okay. Well, don't let the Jew haters hear that. They're gonna hate that. They're gonna be like, yep, they're gonna occupying United States as well now after they took over the Middle East. And then we have another super chat from Casey saying Wikipedia is queer liberal garbage. Oh my God. Thank you, Casey. And then we got another super chat by Micha Nuka saying, you put it on. LOL. Love you. No. Hey, now. This is like a. Am I becoming a proxy as well? Like, are we discussing proxy? And thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, and Jahangir with another super chat saying, of course, I said for the world. Yep, I know. I just added to it. If Iran would also be mentioned, you would mention you, Pahlavi, and many more. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I wasn't disputing what you were saying. I was just adding to your point. And thank you for the support. All right, so who's next? What's the next topic?
All right. The next topic is Midori wants to know if there is a criminal underworld that's around the IRGC that can be weaponized against them. Because I know the IRGC has their underground things. I think Midori is referring to like someone that would go against them from the underworld side. I'm going to let Midori speak for himself. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was just wondering if the underworld has ties with the RGC and the regime, and if so, if so, okay, they do. But the ones that don't, are they backing the civilians? Are they going to do anything to help? Because I remember a few weeks ago, I don't mean to open up a can of worms, but they talked about rearming. That's the first people that I would thought. Well, you go to the gangs now; they've got weapons, but are they for the regime or against the regime? So I'm kind of thinking. I hope it's not like in Venezuela with the colectivos. So fingers crossed. I don't know.
So when it comes to the IRGC, the criminal part of it is not underworld. The criminal part of it is on top, and which is the entire IRGC is criminal, and they're involved in a lot of criminal activities, including drugs. And they actually create rules. Sometimes many times they create rules, and then they themselves provide ways to violate the rules, and they charge for it a lot. Like, for example, they make VPNs illegal, but many of the VPNs in Iran that the Iranian people use is made by the IRGC. Like, it's very like the IRGC is like a mafia. So you know how like sometimes governments make something illegal and that creates a mafia situation. So for example, you make alcohol illegal, so now you have the mafia selling alcohol at the higher price. So most of the time, the mafia is taking advantage of something being illegal by the government. In Iran, we have this weird situation where the government makes things illegal, and then the government is the mafia that is taking advantage of that thing being illegal and charging things 10 times the price. So they cut the internet and they make it punishable by death to go against their filters sometimes. And they themselves always come out and create a black market. The very same people that cut the internet create a black market for selling of the ways to go around, to call it white SIM cards, to go around the ban that they have put in place. So there is no criminal underworld. There's a criminal, I don't know, what is the opposite of underworld? Out in the sun, open, like it says. And everybody knows it. Like they don't even try to hide it. So yeah, it's a mafia state. Exactly. That's a good open air, mafia state. So the underworld part of it are not criminals. They might be defectors and patriots who are secretly part of the IRGC but are going against it. And we do know that they do exist. And because for two reasons. Because first, Prince of Pahlavi has confirmed that tens of thousands of people from the regime have defected to him. That has been confirmed. But also, we had the regime itself confirmed that so many people within the IRGC have defected that they couldn't even go and hunt them all down. And they confirmed the numbers, like the thousands of numbers themselves. And they said for so many of them, we just had to send them a warning text. And the only ones that they could punish were the ones who I don't believe them. Like, it's hard to believe that the people within the IRGC, you caught them defecting and you only warned them with a text. But even if we wanted to believe you, you are confirming that there were so many people within the IRGC that defecting. They said the only ones that they punished severely were the ones who were basically gathering guns and coming up. Like, they had everything ready. They had guns and everything ready to basically use it to rise up against the regime within the armed forces. That was on state TV. Like, they were admitting all of this on state TV, that this is happening. And by the way, this was before the Lion and Sun Revolution. Like, this report from state TV within the Islamic Republic was before the massacre, the tens of thousands of massacre of the Iranian people, that the Islamic Republic itself was confirming that there are thousands of people within the armed forces that are trying to defect against the regime. So imagine how big that number is once so many people within the armed forces see, and because they are the people who saw that happening. They saw the regime basically openly shot into the crowds of Iranians. So the problem is that it's very difficult. The regime unfortunately does a good job in taking account of who has what weapon. Like, it's not like these people, like, they can't just take it home or anything. Everything is accounted for. They track everything. So there are people who defect, but the consequences of being found out are very severe. So I do believe that there are many people within the regime, within even IRGC, that are anti-regime, but they don't want to come out too early against the regime, because then it would be, if they get found out, they're waiting for, I think many of them are waiting for the proper time where their uprising against the regime will not go to waste, because if they do this prematurely, then they will be caught and killed, and it would all be for nothing. Does that answer your question? I don't know. Okay,
Go ahead, Midori. All right. We have some twos on this topic. Jeff was next.
A really good question. Ever since 2024 and the disruption of the funding streams and material support for Hezbollah vis-a-vis the Mullah regime, now Mullah regime remnants, Hezbollah is very much up and lean more on its criminal activities and or organization operational ties between Hezbollah, read Islamic fundamentalist terrorist organization, and transnationalized crime syndicates. Before I get to that real quickly, I'll kind of want to give you a rundown of how one might, not you, it's kind of pretentious, forgive me, like a tool set that how one might apply in thinking about different, how do you differentiate between transnationalized crime syndicates and transnational terrorist organizations. So a transnationalized crime syndicate is very much is parasitical in nature. It looks to leech off the legitimate business world. Its primary motive is profit. Transnational terrorist organization, so transnational organized crime syndicate uses violence for profit. Transnational terrorist organization is a predator. It wants to destroy said system, so it uses profit for violence. And the reason that they kind of liked each other, we've seen this ever since, the terrorist attack of September 11th, and a lot of organization operational ties were growing as they looked at each other and went, wow, they have skills the other guy kind of likes and would find useful. And so Hezbollah is a very good example of this increasing organization operational ties, particularly when it comes to things like narcotics trafficking, Captagon in like Syria and in the Middle East, mostly cocaine, heroin and methamphetamine, particularly out of the, what do they call it? It's the it's a very specific, forgive me, I'm going to brain fart right here. So like it's a very particular area inside, Central and South America. So let's kind of like the tri-border area. So what's some of those organization operational ties? In the tri-border area in Latin America, which is Hezbollah's primary at the moment, to the best we can assess, main hub for illicit activity. It's cocaine trafficking, money laundering, like charcoal and oil smuggling, which people were like, that seems odd. They put their fucking hands in everything, right? Counterfeiting. Nature of the ties is very much organizational partnerships plus facilitation, and their level of integration is pretty high. Key cases, if I remember correctly, was Project Cassandra by the DA and Baccarat clan. So that's their most significant criminal revenue. Previously, it was Colombia Venezuelan networks, particularly in cocaine production and trafficking, mostly business relationships, medium to high ties to remnants of FARC, right, linked to groups and Cartel of the Suns. Brazilian PCC, it's the Primeiro Comando de Capital, so cocaine trafficking, logistics, money, about medium, mostly opportunistic. In Syria and the Levant, it was mostly Captagon trade. And that's direct involvement in regime-linked networks because, fuck the IRGC, they're shitty. In Western Africa, oddly, I think it's car scams, money laundering, and diamond smuggling. The diamond smuggling, I knew, just car scams was a little off. I was like, that threw me off a little. Diaspora-based front companies, it's kind of operational elements centers around classical Hawala trade-based laundering, right? So they kind of get around signal-based intelligence by a low-tech counter via Hawala networks. And in the United States, it's mostly money laundering in front companies, cigarette smuggling. This is kind of also when, Sketch talks about a lot of these NGOs that are fucking shady. He's like, this is part of that. So when you think about like, what can we do? There is definitely elements within that jungle, right, that are very much not aligned with Hezbollah, including how do I put this? Western linked and or anti-mullah networks, and we'll just leave it at that. So that's very much something that you might want to leverage. Yeah, very much so.
Okay, who's next? Thank you, Jeffrey.
All right. I don't believe I have any more twos on this. Nail Bunny may be able to help me out if I missed one. But I would also like to point out that it's more like the colectivos. Like what Midori's point was saying, hey, you know what? We have sort of like a Venezuelan underground, but they're more aligned with the regime. Like as far as what I've heard, it's more like the colectivos. They're more in line with the regime. There are probably elements that secretly are against the regime just because they're so terrible at ruling that it's making their underground work hard for them. So I do agree with Jeff that there may be some larger ties and there may be some weaknesses to be exploited. But that's what I have on that topic. Now I'm going to read out what Kat told me. I guess we need pro-Israeli Americans, and therefore Israeli response can wait. I will not remind you tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow there will be a better mod here. So Israeli Kat thinks that there's no Israeli responses here, that we have not had an Israeli take here. So I want to let her come up here and talk to find out what she's talking about, or we have bad mods. Go ahead, Kat. Tell us what you think.
To Lebanon, and he told me, no, we've had enough responses. And then I told him I had important information as well. And then he told me, we might meet tomorrow. I think that's not a good job. Am I wrong? And I'm only telling because you told me to ask. I didn't want to make it public, right?
Well, it is public. Everything you write on the side chat is public. Everyone is seeing. What?
You said it. You said it.
Okay. Hold on a second, Kat. Now, I want to remind everyone that has been here and everybody in YouTube that everybody has seen that Armin told me, hey, we're going to have to move on. We're short for time. I asked in the chat, hey, is this breaking news? If not, can we cover it tomorrow? If it's breaking news, hey, you know what? I'll read out what you said. You told me it's not breaking news, which is what happened. And, you're saying that I'm a bad mod. I don't want to get in a public argument, but because the chat is going crazy about letting you respond about how I'm moderating and about moving on from topics without an Israeli response, and because I'm very well aware that Israelis here did respond, there have been a lot of Israelis that are here. I heard no complaints. So I just want to get that out there because, there's a lot of complaining that I don't think is productive. And I think it's very selfish, and it's not being cognizant of everyone else that's here, and it's not being cognizant of what's going on. When we're talking about division and fighting over little things, this is what I'm talking about. We don't need these little fights because one person thinks I'm the Israeli perspective and the other 20 Israelis here aren't Israeli enough, or they're too Israeli Americans, or Americans can't speak favorably of. Like, I just read the soldiers that died. I just said we have to be united. I mean, I don't know, what do you want, blood? We do shed that too. So I just want to put it out there that when we're talking that while they're screaming for unity on their side, we are being divided by stupid, selfish arguments. And that's what I'm going to call this, because that's what I think it is. And I'm not going to back down from that.
So,
am I right? Did you not tell me to move on?
Okay, no, let's cut
Can I
this
say
out.
one sentence?
No.
No, I know. I don't want to talk about it. I know. I just want to respond if I can.
No, if it's responding
Not
to
personal, don't worry.
Okay, if it's about the topic, go ahead.
I said I don't sketch. My point was not to make 5 minutes about personal stuff.
This is not about the topic, so let's cut this out, okay? And Sketch, you're doing a good job with modding. Except the part when you get offended by people complaining. People will complain all the time. You're a great mod. I know you're a great mod. You're doing a really good job modding. Except that the time when people complain, like, I know you're gonna become more active in this, there's going to be so many people talking shit about you and complaining about things all the time. Don't let it get to you. It's part of the job, right? It's normal. I mean, I'm not saying don't respond to it, but don't let it get to you.
I just want to say to like Israelis, I don't hate you when I speak about like what swing voters say. That's not my feelings. I'm in the fight with you. I have been for months. I've been talking in favor of Israelis for months. I'm not racist. I don't hate Jews for the religion. I don't hate them for race. I don't hate them for anything. They have my support, and I'm going to do better to ignore these people.
And Sketch, of course you're pro-Israeli. What the hell? Like, of course we know that. Like, of course you are. Right? Like, that doesn't even need to be said for sure. And you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Just know that, like, what you're experiencing when people complaining is the path that you're going is going to be 1,000 times more. So just deal with it, and I'm not dealing with it is not. I don't mean like when it comes to dealing with it. I'm not saying don't defend yourself. Like obviously, whenever you need to defend yourself, defend yourself. But I'm just saying don't let it annoy you. It's normal. It's like video games, right? In video games, if you see no resistance, and if you see nobody attacking you, it's probably because you're on the wrong path. Okay, you only know that you're on the right path when people are pushing back against you. That's actually a demonstration that you're probably on the right path. Okay, so just get
I mean, you suck. I just want to say that.
Thank you, Ramis. Love you too.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
All right. I don't think we have any more. I have Jeff talked about this. Who else do we have? I don't think we have any more twos on this. I would like to move on to the next topic from Wyatt on deals purchasing weapons.
Wait.
So go ahead, Wyatt.
No. Wait. We have 5 super chats. I'll check with me for super chats. Okay, let me just quickly go through that.
All right. Hold on, Wyatt.
Okay, so Zip Gun, thank you so much for the super chat saying, hey, same question as earlier. Did you see Megyn Kelly interview and what are your thoughts on it? I saw pieces of it and it's garbage. They are, I mean, I reviewed pieces of it, I think, on one of our live streams. I don't know. It's an anti-Israeli love fest, isn't it? Like, yeah, so maybe I should review. Like, has anybody Sketch? Did you see that the Megyn Kelly interview with Vance? I think, yeah. I didn't see the full version of it, but I think that people, it's just I think that based on what I saw, pieces of it, parts of it, it just seems the same old attacks on Israel. Let me know if I missed anything. But Megyn Kelly is garbage, and everything that they're saying is repetitive. It's just anti-Trump, anti-Israel, pro-Islamic Republic propaganda, but coming from the conservative side. That's what I think. A lot of what Megyn Kelly says these days is a copy paste on what I'm hearing from Islamic Republic State TV, and I'm not exaggerating that. A lot of what I hear from Megyn Kelly these days is like, is she watching the Islamic Republic State TV and just repeating what they're saying? And that tells you something, by the way. When you're basically spreading the propaganda of United States' #1 enemy right now. Jangir with a super chat saying, topic Erdogan news statement is that they will take back Jerusalem. They have taken northern Iraq now. What the fuck? Erdogan has said that? I didn't see him say that. So yeah, I will look into that. What the fuck? Erdogan said that they take back Jerusalem? That is like, I don't know if he has said that, because I thought if he has said that, wouldn't that be all over the people are saying, yep, okay, yes? Did he say that? Okay, we need to look into that. Because I thought if he said something like that, it would be all over the news right now. Okay, yes, he did. Holy fuck! What the fuck? Okay, well, yeah, we should be talking about that at some point. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Texas troop, thank you so much. Like a member of NATO is saying that we need to take back Jerusalem and bring it back to the Islamic world. Like, okay. Like, why is this not headline news everywhere right now? Texas Troop, thank you for the super chat saying, RT conceded Islamists are bigger enemy of USA. Wait, what is RT? Oh, Republic. Okay, so Republican thoughts in the chat. Okay, somebody in the chat considered Islamists are a bigger enemy of USA. Okay, good. Well, thank you for telling us that. And then Fleshy Interloper just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. And then Michanuga saying, thanks, Fleshy. You're a boss. Yeah, okay. So Michanuga become a member because of the gift. Thank you. All right. So what's the next topic?
I think that's me.
Yes. Yes, Wyatt, go ahead. You were talking about deals purchasing weapons.
Yeah. Armin, do you know what kind of a California Okie saying wheeling and dealing means? It means if you buy something, you kind of get something for free. Like we were in the oil fields, we used to go and buy 10 trucks and say, well, if we buy 10 trucks, will you throw one in for free? And they'd either say yes or no. If they say no, you tell them to fuck off. The town I live, there's 13 military factories. There's Lockheed Martin, the biggest Conenberg's factories here, and smaller factories too. And you got a lot of connections. And well, Lockheed Martin's, they make military drones. You got a lot of connections. And I was thinking maybe if you talk around and if you can throw business their way, maybe we could make a deal where they throw something in for free and the Iranian people get it. The guy across the river, he makes Pumas. He specializes in Pumas. It's an armored vehicle. He's a Trump supporter. He's pro-Israeli. He's a cooler and fuck people. And I kind of think he would be, because he's a smaller business, he actually may be interested in it. But like if Israel or something would buy 10 of his vehicles, maybe throw one in for free.
So I think what as Jeffrey points out a lot, I think what the Iranian people need the most, which is easier to get into Iran, are just drones, right? Because those things are big and moving them is difficult. And I think you're not going to get the biggest bang for your buck with regards to how expensive they are and how difficult it would be to move them into Iran. I think what you need to, there's 2 things. Either you need to get more drones into Iran for the Iranian people, or if that fails, I think the next plan should be to identify the people within the Iran that we know are on our side and just pay them to buy drones that are already in Iran and pay them to just turn those already existing drones that you could just buy in the markets in Iran that already exist and turn them into deadly weapons, Like that is a strategy that might be the most effective if nobody starts, if we don't get anywhere with getting arms from outside into Iran. I think whatever money that we're thinking on spending for arming the Iranian people would be more effectively spent if we just, transferring that money with crypto wallets to the people that we have identified as safe inside Iran, and then getting proof from them that they are buying drones and equipping them with what's needed to be able to fight it back against the Islamic Republic. I think that would be the most effective strategy, and it's the easiest one to do. And also, you don't have to deal about the logistics. Yeah.
The armored, also they make a thing here called a protectorate. I guess there's different kinds of protectorate, but one of them is a remote control tank where you can control from the internet. It's unmanned. There's no people in it. I was looking at that. It looks like something out of a Terminator or something. It's a robot tank that you just run. I guess I'm not sure how far. Maybe it can be anywhere, but I know you run it remote control. So just something to think about.
Yeah, I mean it is. I'm assuming that's going to be very hard to get inside Iran without the IRGC seeing it and stopping it. I mean, is like whatever complications and the financial costs and the logistics complications involving with doing that, the money that you spend on buying that thing and the money involved with getting I think the money that you need to spend on actually getting that into Iran is more than the money on buying the equipment itself. That's how complicated the situation is, right? So I think that the same money, if it was spent on just finding crypto wallets by the Garda Javidan, the immortal guards inside Iran, that has been verified by Princess Pahlavi's team as safe, as people who they have vetted, and then sending this to their wallets. There's already drones that you could buy inside Iran, and it's actually not that difficult to turn them into weapons, right? So I think that would get the biggest bang for your buck. But I mean, I don't. Yeah. I'll let the military experts. I see Jeffrey is in the put it too, so we'll see.
Yes.
We'll get his opinion.
Jeffrey, I have some thoughts on this. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
So, very good thoughts. That's very much centers around the kinetic line of effort regarding the broader Track 2 material support strategy that was outlined and sent to some people. Here's the rub. There's a couple. I love your thinking, and Armin pointed out one of the issues regarding, armored vehicles being transported in would be almost impossible to get in. And even if you did, the kind of environment that you'd be fighting in and the actors you'd be fighting against would probably blow that thing apart pretty quickly, because armored vehicles are very much vulnerable to things like V-bids and friggin', anything, right? I mean, like mount situations are not a good spot for armored vehicles. I mean, it's good. I'm not saying they don't have any advantage. So still very good thinking though. As far as remote piloted ground, vehicles, any weapon system that you can use over and over again, much less singly even, or much less over and over again. If it's a man in or on top of the loop type system, meaning it has an open network, very much vulnerable to being hacked, which is why all of drone warfare is very much moving. Like in the interim, it was like, what is it, wire guided, filament guided FPVs, and that's only as a stand-in to fully autonomous weaponized drone swarms, which are already all over the battlefield, and you don't have any men in on top of the loop, so there's no signal to jam. So getting things in, donating those, getting US companies to donate stuff, again, not a bad idea. This is actually what a lot of Ukraine's diaspora did. To do that, there is a whole host of legal gates you got to follow. Otherwise you will go to prison for every infraction of a State Department ITAR's regulation. It's 10 years in jail and $1 million fine. There's no pleading it out. You will serve them consecutively. So if you send, say, 10 illegal items, you will die in prison. And the bad guys, whether it's the regime remnants, Putin's criminalized counterintelligence, Chi-Coms, they would almost assuredly weaponize our law system against any pro-resistance network, and just have our legal system do the work for them. So I mean, I don't want to belabor it and go through all the laws, because it's actually one of the that's volume 2, right? It's all law and legal gates. So what do? Because it's not like we should do nothing. There is very much a reason why me and others have been a broken record on leveraging Ukrainian defense forces, not the least of which is Ukrainian-derived weapon systems have a lower cost per kill and or a lower cost and production exchange ratio, which means, or they have a higher cost of production exchange ratio, meaning advantage for the good guys. And you get around a lot of end of use regulations and stuff. Not all. The other thing is, I'll say this, you can even do on top of Armin, if you fund it through His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi, if in His Highness Prince Reza Pahlavi headed up transitionary government is recognized as the official government in exile, that really much streamlines a lot of legal gates. They're not all gone. Very much makes it a lot easier. And now you can start donating to, say, things like Ukrainian forces who produce, 257 FP5 Flamingo missiles, each costing, say, $250,000. And let's say you have people who grab a very large oil tanker the Mullah regime uses to try and reconstitute itself via illicit oil sales, and liberate that via letters of marque, and then sell that on the open market to the allies, and you make $1 billion. That $1 billion means that 4,000 targets inside Iran are going to have a real bad fucking day. Yeah, So, I mean, all good thinking, not saying that that shouldn't be done. If you want, you should reach out to me when I start doing. I'm going to say this to you. I just want to remind you. Let's teach me how to set up my own school session so I can go through those classes, Armin, so people can see what that exactly means, so we can actually start focusing a lot of this understandable and very much desirable energy towards out like avenues that will have outputs and also be, make sure we don't violate any laws, rules, or regulations so we can sustain those efforts. Because this is like, people want to help Iranian resistance side Iran, they should. I just want to make sure that we get the maximum return for the amount of energy invested and minimize whatever risk that's there. So all good thoughts. Hopefully I helped hammer some of that out. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, I mean, you could once stay in touch with me on Telegram. We'll go from there. Yeah.
All right, and I would just like to point out that when the classes start, I'm going to be the teacher's pet monkey. And next on the list is Jim. Jim, go ahead.
Oops. I'll agree and disagree a little bit with you guys on arming the Iranian people. I'm still a bit more of a classical type of guy with what I'm thinking that the Iranian people should be armed with. It'd be nice if we could get armored vehicles and these other mid-level to large-level products in there, or gear in there, but I'm still thinking the crux of it should rest on your small arms, your ammunition, and then the drones should complement that as well. I'm glad that I think it was Wyatt who was asking about underground mafia syndicates in Iran, because usually those are the go-to agencies, let's just say, funneling those two through, like in the Soviet Union in years past. But I'm almost thinking what we're going to need now is just people like Petito's group linking up with Intel, like Israeli Mossad, like others in the area, to get this done. And Jeffrey, I appreciate you sharing with me and many others that whole long, detailed operational plan for the Iranian Revolution. And you're right. I mean, guys, when he's talking about the legal loopholes you have to jump through, it is like so ungodly deep and various and complex. It's like crazy just to even attempt it. But yeah, totally agree. You have to jump through them to not have like what I call a George Harrison type situation where that was a guy in years past who was funneling American guns to the Irish Republican Army. I mean, you can do that, but then the consequences follow you instantly after. So without talking to Petito directly, and he obviously wouldn't tell me or anybody directly how it's done for obvious reasons, I'm just not sure exactly how we get those weapons and munitions there into Iran. I was just curious about you guys' thoughts on that.
So, I just a quick sketch. I only have 2 more minutes. I just want to remind people here that once I leave, you guys could continue the conversation without me for as long as you need to. And I also have 2 more super chats. So I know 2 more people are here. And can we get through those 2 people first, and then you guys could go, and after I leave, you could keep talking about this. Right, 2 more people are there, right?
Yes.
All right, so keep it like if you guys could keep.
No, Charles.
Charles just went. I just went.
Okay. Charles,
do you want to do your super chats? Do you want to do your super chats, Armin, and then you can bounce?
No.
And I just want to check something with a few of the military guys, yeah? Or can I continue?
So you guys could continue after I leave. So Ramins,
go ahead, Ramin.
Yeah, I am a very big, I want to go there and help, like physically get there and help. I have fixed a visa to get to Israel, and they should have a program for this. However, the new modern systems that Ukraine showcased on Russia, I think those drones were costing like $1,300 per kill, and compare that to the new tanks, a standard Russian T-72 battle tank, as they are called, are valued like $1 to $2 million per kill. So like these new drone systems that can cost 500 to produce off the shelf, I think that's a huge factor for the uprising. We need that for sure, and it's easier to get in. Like I just want to add.
Okay, that's interesting. So you guys are about to have a very fascinating discussion after I leave. I'm sorry that I'm going to miss it. Let me just read the two super chats. Oh, before I read the two super chats, I also want to thank both Sketch and Nail Bunny because I saw they're working with each other. Sketch was managing, modding everybody and doing a beautiful job, and Nail Bunny was keeping track of everybody in the chat. So great teamwork, you guys, and thank you guys for keeping everything, organized. We appreciate the mods here. Thank you. And then two super chats. One from Ida. Ida is saying it's not in the news because it's not the Jews. Oh yeah, this is a reference to Erdogan saying that we're going to take over Jerusalem. So Ida is saying it's not in the news because it's not the Jews saying the Jews saying they're going to turn Istanbul back to Constantinople. Yes, true. Imagine, imagine. Oh my God! Imagine what the news would be like if they said that. Yeah, shows like the bias. Wow, that's a good. That's a good. You know, that's a good way of demonstrating how the double standard works. Yeah. And then the last super chat from Jahangir. Thank you so much again, saying, I just need to remind you all that Donald, in all caps, is focusing 100% on winning midterm. That's it. Let him focus on that. I hope you're 100% correct, Ramins, on this. And we'll see. I mean, this is the optimistic view, and I'm all in for that. And hopefully that means that right after the midterms, we're going to go back to maximum aggression against Islamic Republic. And we'll see if that happens. And yeah, hopefully that's true. And thank you guys. So let me actually stop the recording and you guys continue all the conversation. And guys on YouTube, if you're watching, oh, what got another super chat. I have saying a training potential is VR. US military uses it for all sorts of things, easier to hide, won't draw attention like live fire or large groups of people. Yeah, also, by the way, a lot of Iranian people are already trained on how to use drones because apparently they're very similar to video games. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, then we already have a ready to use trained army of Iranians because video games are big in Iran, just like everywhere else. So if it is like video games, they're already pretty much trained. Okay. So, guys, I'm about to go. You guys continue the conversation. People on YouTube, either you could join this discussion. The link is in the description and in the QR code and pinned in the chat. You could go and listen to the rest of the discussion if you joined the discussion group right now. Or I'll see you guys in half an hour where I do our next live stream with Ali. So, either way, I'll see you guys soon. And until then, I'm Israel Chai, Slava Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Long live America, Javid Shah, Payende, Iran. See you guys soon.